two members at the board meeting, and we had some pretty heavy issues. This $5 million bond was one of them, the street project, and I didn't feel comfortable with two members controlling the outcome of that by you know, a tie vote or something like that, because I think more people should be involved in making the decision to get it to council. And that's why I lobbied for at least 4 people on the committee. Because the 3 plus an alternate, I don't see where the alternate was really doing much. It was still part of the committee. So we had 4 members of the committee, so why not make them all 4 active members? That was my feeling on it. And we started talking about, well, if only 2 members show up and it's a tie vote, it's going to die. So, well, that's not proper either. We should have the whole council talking about it. That's why we thought that a tie vote should send it to council. That was the reasoning behind it. So, you know, I'm still in favor of this the way it's written. I don't think it's going to create that many problems, and I think the more people we have involved in making decisions, the better we are. And like everybody keeps saying that they don't get enough information. Well, that's one way to get more information, is have more people on the committee. And I'm in favor of this. I'd like to see it go through.
Honorable Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Isn't it true, if we thought it was that important, we could just take it to the full council and just skip the.
Yes.
So I mean, like, every day, I don't know, all of us at the council have to decide on buying a skid loader or a truck or this and that, but there's big issues, you know, when you're building the plant out there, you know, millions of dollars, I can understand taking it to full council, so. I don't know why that's still gonna be done and still operate with our committees anyhow, you know.
Honorable Mayor, what you just said is exactly what can happen. You as the mayor can put anything you want on the agenda if you think it's important enough for this body to do it. That's part of the mayor's obligation and duty. He controls what goes on the agenda, the common council agenda. And so if a tie would occur in a committee and you feel that's important enough that the whole committee should hear it, or the whole body should hear it, you can put it on the agenda. And it can be discussed. No questions asked.
So just for clarification, part of this ordinance is amending the committee makeups, and then the other, there's another portion that is amending what a tie vote does.
Yeah.
Right, I have no problem with making the alternate a member of the committee. I just struggle with the tie vote being a majority vote. And I think if we expand the committees, I mean, 95% of the time, we're all in agreement. I mean, sometimes I think that we don't know the word no when we vote, you know, so it's not gonna be a huge deal. I just don't like a tie being an affirmative, you know, majority vote. So I guess the motion is on the table. As it stands, I'm gonna vote no against it, but I would definitely vote for expanding the committees to make the alternate a member of the committee.
Mayor,
Yes.
I will make one comment. I'm for this. I've kind of been behind pushing it also because I think more input is a good idea. The one part that I don't like is the tie vote pushing it on.
So our options to amend the motion, the majority, do that at this point then?
Yes. I would move to amend to change the committees to, I don't have the ordinance in front of me how it reads, but I guess I would amend the motion to remove a tie vote being an affirmative vote, however it's.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to remove the tie vote clause from this resolution. Is that acceptable wording?
Require a roll call.
Yes, it will. And by what?
It's a majority vote is required. Yeah, I would say it probably is safer to do a roll call vote.
Yeah. What will make it pass? Just majority or?
Just majority.
Majority. All right. Any further comments on this? Then say aye, opposed no, to the amendment to remove the tie vote clause. Clerk can call the roll.
Alderperson Beer,
Aye.
Marsh,
Aye.
Tolman,
Aye.
Miller,
No.
Ballman,
No.
Boyce,
Aye.
Newcomer,
Aye.
Cook,
No.
5-3.
uh,
5 affirmative,
yes, 5.
3 noes, motion passes. So that is removed from the original motion. So now we're back to the ordinance repealing, recreating various portions of the Title II, Chapter 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the Monroe City Code, composition, Board of Public Works, Finance and Taxation, Public Safety, Judiciary, and Ordinance, License, and Salary Personnel Committees. By roll call vote, all those in favor will say aye, opposed no, and the clerk can call that roll.
Alderperson Beer, Alderperson Marsh,
No.
Tolman,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Ballman,
No.
Boyce,
Aye.
Newcomer,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Beer.
Aye.
6-2. 6 affirmative, 2 opposed. Motion passes. All right, thank you. On to finance and taxation.
Your Honorable Mayor, I have a resolution approving agreement with Resource X for implementation of priority-based budgeting. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Monroe upon recommendation of the Finance and Taxation Committee that approval be hereby given for the agreement with Resource X for implementation of priority-based budgeting, a copy of which is attached hereto and made a part hereof by reference. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city administrator be hereby authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the city of Monroe. This is offered by the Finance and Taxation Committee dated this 22nd day of February 2017, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Motion and a second for resolution approving agreement with Resource X for implementation, priority-based budgeting. So, let's do our little process and somebody call for point of information.
Well, I think you can call for it.
And I will do that. I will too. Hearing the discussion on our priority-based budgeting.
All right, thank you for the floor. Sent out some of the information ahead of time here at the Finance and Taxation Committee. I went through a presentation, which I do have available if anyone didn't get a chance to either see the video or look through the slides. Are there any questions, or would you like to see a brief overview of that?
I would, please.
I'll make this as quick as I can with these batteries dying. So, we're talking about, one of the issues that we're looking at here is municipal tax rate. We're at $10.81 in 2015, where the average for cities was $8.40. Our non-operating costs are increasing, it's putting pressure on our day-to-day services. Our debt service increased for 2017, and we're looking at trying to increase our capital expenditures that we're levying, so that's putting additional pressure and pinching that. Einstein, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So we need, in my opinion, another approach to budgeting. So, this does not completely replace the process we do. Department heads still give their recommendations to me, I give those to finance, finance gives those to council, that part still kind of stays the same. What this does is provide an analytical tool which can be used during budget time and any time during the year. It works with our current budget process. If we're trying to decide how to balance the budget, if expenditure requests are above our anticipated revenue, or if our revenue year over year is going down, another issue we may experience. 7 deadly sins of budgeting. Some of the tricks and tools of the trade that take from one account, pay to another, use accounting tricks, borrowing, selling assets, delaying asset maintenance, and trying to come up with some trick or gadget to make it through, or nickel and diming the employees. They may work from one budget cycle to the next, but they're not sustainable for a long time. They don't do anything to necessarily take down the tax rate. Characterizes external and internal services, so it looks at everything that's done on the outside, snow plowing, etc., and the internal, the stuff that helps make all that happen, payroll, those things. Here's an example of our current budget for law enforcement. It's a typical line item type budget. You know, bottom line, we got $3.2 million this year. But this doesn't really tell you anything on what that $3.2 million is being spent on. What are the services that go into that? Here's an example of what we would receive from them, a list of about 70 different services that we may implement, some we may be doing. We're definitely not doing all of these, and we may have some that even are not on this list. Each of these we put into a definition of personnel costs, non-personnel costs, and what each of those services runs up. Kind of go through some of this a little quicker. How does it work? Okay, so here's the priority part. These are some different areas that would be rated or evaluated. We would pick, the council would pick 3 to 5 of these. Those are the things that would be scored, in addition to mandated, if it's a cost recovery feature, a number of different things. This tool then gives you some definitions and questions on what to look for. So here's a quick little thing here. You got 4 categories over here: mandated, provide the program, and a score related to that. If it's from a state or federal mandate, it's going to get a high score. If it's something that maybe a best practice or there's nothing tying it to anything, a 0 or a 1. The cost recovery program, is it 100% dependent on taxes? Is there a fee associated with it? There's a score associated based on that. Change in demand for the service. Is there a certain thing that all of a sudden something triggered? Let's say it's something for the senior center, and our population is aging. Demand is going to go up for that. Reliance on city to provide the service. Is there anyone else that can provide it? If we're the only ones that can do that, it's going to get a high score. If there's other people doing it, it'll get a lower score. And then the priority things that we choose to score. So how this works then, all of these services are picked out by staff to say, here's the service that's being provided. The costing goes into that, and that's part of where we get the assistance from the Resource X to help with that part of it. Then the department head scores that. Then there's a peer review amongst us to help validate what those scores are. So if I'm scoring my own, I'm gonna say everything's high, there's no reason to cut any of my stuff, don't look at me. But I'm gonna be held accountable by everyone else. So the scoring goes into that. Then there's quartiles. Q1 is the most important, that scores the highest. Q4 is the lowest. That's how it's gonna be the top 25, middle 25, how a quartile works. And you can see that there. So now Resource X identifies programs that we have and what those costs are. It'll help you score them. Why do we use Resource X instead of trying to do it ourselves? The tool. This tool is the biggest reason for it. This will give all of you as elected officials information, whatever kind of questions you want to have, it's there. It'll give department heads information to look at. We objectively want to try to decrease the lower scoring programs and increase the higher scoring if necessary. We may be just looking at decreasing. This will help us with identifying those programs. So you can see here, they come in with some preloaded questions. Maybe you don't know how to get started or what to ask. Okay, well here's one you can toggle between all these things. You want to look at something, all things that are high mandates. So you go to 4. Maybe your question is, are we over delivering on services that are mandated? Here's a way to look at that. Oops. So about 150 communities across Canada and the US are using it. We have access to all of those. So maybe there's something you don't know, or there's something you want to look at. We can then do a search, keyword search, and find out that the finance policies, whatever else. Well, Longmont, Colorado has some great policies, so we can look those things up as well. So how would we utilize it? Well, reallocation of resources for better efficiency and increased support from the citizenry. Maintaining current services, assuming all else equal, there is a desire to increase the capital by another 150 for next year. Or maybe we want to reduce the municipal tax levy for the city. Now, assuming all else equal, it's estimated to cost approximately $366,000 just to reduce us to under $10. Still in the highest 25% of all cities from 2015. If we include the additional capital, that's $500,000. That's $500,000. what services are we gonna drop to reduce that? You wanna get down to the average of 840? That's 1.4 million. 15% of our budget. Where do we start? What's the cost? The cost for implementing this program this year is $20,000. That is to host it, to maintain it, for the virtual services that we are provided with implementing it. There is an annual ongoing fee then at that point of $15,000. That's locked in. It will not be above that for 3 years. We're not locked into it for 3 years. We could drop it in year 2, year 1, whatever it might be. We also have the chance of getting the best price that's available at that time. They expand their scope and have more, kind of the scale are affecting them then, the price could go down. But it will not go above that in those 3 years.
The point isn't about, to do this isn't about dropping services. It's about quantifying information that we have in a different way, right? I mean,
Correct.
that will allow us to make more informed decisions. I mean, we always talk about needing information. I think, putting our current budget up there, I think was very instructive. All the general ledger codes. I mean, you look at those budgets, and there's a lot of information there, but there's nothing there at the same time. So, I admit I'm a skeptic of it. I think the price is really high. However, I know that we arrive at the levy that we're at right now by using the same budget system forever, and I think change is good. And if it costs a little bit of money to see if it works or not, I think it's going to be a good decision.
Have you weighed this system against the current system that the city has? And all the bells and whistles that are in that system that I know darn well are not being used?
What system are you referring to?
The system that was put into, about, 2008, 2009, that every department head was using, that broke down overhead, how much it was, who had it, how much their payrolls were, how much time they had, all that was in there. It was all available to everybody sitting here because they all were, every council person was given a code which they could go in and look at every department, look at everything in there, but they couldn't make any changes.
Can I respond to that? I use that system, probably before every claim, or after you get every claims report, and it's hard to use. I mean, now
I'm just saying, did they compare the two to see how much more you're gaining or not gaining?
but I think, to me, the question isn't, is it a system that identifies checks that have cleared? And does it properly assign expenses and revenues to the right code? This is more about identifying costs and prioritizing those costs and allowing us as a group with department heads and citizen input to prioritize those expenditures, which we've never been